Hey, what's up, guys? This is John from TheUndercoverBrony. And welcome back once again, that John Lusk.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
So,
Coming to you live from Japan.
yes, live from Tokyo.
Well, I guess not live for everybody else, just for you.
Yes. So, basically what's going on right now, I know that the title of this says that it's a hype for Make Your Mark. I have a bit of a story here. Eddie is taking an unspecified amount of time off. He's going through some personal shit, and he gave us his blessing for John Lusk to take over for a little bit and join me as the cohort for these videos and reviews and whatnot. So that's basically what's going on. Definitely wish him well wishes because he really needs it right now. Anyway, we're here to talk about the trailer that was dropped just a couple of days ago, along with the synopsis that was given for My Little Pony Make Your Mark, the special coming out later this month.
I'd love to hear about it because I didn't know there was a synopsis.
Yes. I just found it the other day. It was actually from Equestria Daily that found it. So we'll go through that. But first, let's go through the trailer. First of all, the animation, I have to say, the best way I can describe it is legit. The movie was RTX on, and this is RTX off. Like, the shaders are not there at all.
Yeah, lower production value for sure.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it makes sense because, of course, you know, the way it's working here is that it's a lower budget. It's more of a TV budget. Similar to how the Disney stuff had their home video releases weren't as good of quality as the main movies, and that kind of stuff, which makes sense to me. It's not a huge deal, but it's gonna look a little bit more janky than the movie initially hyped this up on.
Yeah, do you know if the voice cast is all returning, or a couple of them have changed, or?
So, from what I know, I believe the voice cast that's coming in is the ones from Tell Your Tale. So, if you've seen that series, that's pretty much the voice actors that you'll get.
Okay, it sounded a little different.
Yeah, so the voice cast for Tell Your Tale is the best way I can describe it is Sunny, Hitch, and Izzy are kind of hit or miss. Pip sounds pretty good, and then whoever they got for Zip sounds almost spot on to Liza Koshy. So they at least have someone that sounds similar enough for Zip, which according to the synopsis, which we'll get into in just a moment, actually it sounds like Zip's going to be one of the main catalysts for this movie, for this special. So it should be interesting. But yeah, definitely check out the Tell Your Tale along with the review we did, because you'll be able to get a good grasp on the different voices coming from here. That also brings in the lower cost, because we're not going to get Sophie Carson and James Marsden and Vanessa Hudgens and all them, because that would just cost way too much to keep them on.
I noticed that because of, I guess, the lower production value, there's less going on in like the town scenes, like with like background people.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like this one part in the trailer. I went through it like kind of like not frame by frame, but kind of more slowly the second time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a part where it's cool because there's like an old style I guess G1 or something poster banner thing at some festival, which is cool. But in the bottom of that frame, there's first off like a wacky flailing inflatable arm tube pony thing, but to the right of that and to the left of that, there's like some food carts that seemingly no one is working at.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Well, you were talking about the tube pony thing. I'm just thinking, wacky waving arm flailing tube man.
Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
That was one of the best things that came out of Family Guy, just no doubt.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the other things that I find interesting is that there's a couple ponies that still don't like that magic is returned, which I hope it's not another Karen pony like Phyllis Cloverleaf was, because I do not want to see a repeat of that. I'd like to see someone who has actual malice instead of just like pure racism or something like that. Also, the fact that there's these magical surges that keep happening, I'm kind of interested to see where that goes. And then right when the crystals break, like everyone's is like planted to the ground, and for some reason they can't move. So I don't know. Maybe there's something there. But yeah, also the crystals break for some reason, and I don't know why that is. And then one of the final shots of the trailer, a couple things with Hitch. One, there's a baby dragon that gets hatched.
Yeah, so, they have their own Spike.
We're going to have their own Spike character. I really hope that they do have Spike somewhere off in the mountains where Sunny goes up and sees a full-grown Spike. You know, something along the lines of, "Are you Spike the brave and glorious?" Him sighing and going, "I was in one lifetime, young one." Something like that. But that's neither here nor there. But one of the other things is, again, leading further credence to Hitch being just like Fluttershy. He's actually understanding the animals now.
Was that not in the first movie? I can't remember.
No, it was not. It was something along the lines of he just had them following him. He didn't have them.
Okay.
He couldn't actually understand them. So that's going to be interesting.
Gotcha.
But that was the trailer. Any final thoughts before we go to the synopsis?
I think you hit all the notes. I was going to talk about Spike, and then I think I covered everything else, really. It's just a trailer, and it's so fast that there's not a whole lot of context to run by. Mm-hmm. However, I'm going to do like the most Japanese thing possible and enjoy a rice ball here while we're talking.
Okay, sounds good. So moving on, we're going to be talking here about the synopsis that came out, and this is courtesy of Equestria Daily. We're going to go this paragraph by paragraph because there's like 5 or 6 paragraphs here. So we'll kind of go through it little by little. But it says, months after magic has returned to Equestria, Sunny Scar Scout and her new pony friends are excited to celebrate their new lives on Maritime Bay Day. But while their group may have adjusted to magic's return, plenty of unicorns and pegasi are still having trouble mastering their powers, frustrating the non-magical Earth ponies who wish to return to how things were before. So this first part lends credence to the fact that this pseudo-villain that we've seen in the trailer is an Earth pony. Now, we did see that little scene at the end of the movie that had the hoof prints of the Earth pony kind of glowing. So we know that they do still have some sort of magic. Maybe they just haven't found it yet. But then the next part says, this division worries Zip, who notices that the Unity crystals have begun glitching, disrupting magic for everyone. Zip begins investigating, discovering the glitches seem to be happening more and more, their chaos further dividing the ponies of Maritime Bay. She tries to convince her friends that the Unity crystals are acting strange, but they think she is worrying over nothing and don't believe her. That's kind of interesting because it still shows that they're still building their bonds of friendship and that they're not completely in sync with each other yet.
Which is good for storytelling. Mm-hmm. Character development. It's much more interesting to see that still have to happen than for it to already be done.
Exactly. And one of the other things that I did notice, especially with the trailer itself, they said it was just a couple of months after the events of the movie. So that also, again, lends more credence to the fact that they are still kind of working out the kinks of their new friendship. Also, going back to the trailer real quick, that tower that they had instead of the lighthouse, that's actually also in Tell Your Tale. That is the Crystal Bright House.
I was wondering about that. So.
Yeah, and so the Crystal Bright House is actually where all of the 5 new cast members live. So they're getting to know each other and getting to live together, which also I find interesting because in Friendship is Magic, that wasn't the case. They each had their own homes, they each had their own families, they each had their own jobs, that sort of thing. So it's interesting to see them kind of getting more closely knit due to the fact that they all live in the same area. But I also like the fact that it's Zip who's noticing the crystals, and that kind of is interesting because it wasn't really shown in the movie, but she was a scientist, at least from the promotional material that she kind of found joy in that. So I'm wondering if she's going to be making like calculations on what's going on with the crystals and trying to figure it out scientifically. So the next paragraph is, that is, until they witness a Pegasus falling out of the sky onto an Earth pony themselves. This spurs outrage from the Earth ponies, who threaten to boycott Maritime Bay Day if the town isn't made a magic-free zone. Now on her side, Zip explains to her friends that her discovery that magic is glitching when ponies aren't treating each other with kindness. Their mission now is to throw such an amazing Bay Day that every pony comes together in harmony to stabilize magic again. So the crystals are directly affected by the harmony between the ponies, which is kind of interesting because that's different to how they how the elements of harmony reacted. They definitely did act when acts of friendship were happening, but they didn't like lose power when disharmony was there, if that makes sense.
I mean, that's good that they're trying something different instead of just carbon copying and updating it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, I don't know if you've heard any of the theories about, potentially that Twilight infused her magic in like an ultimate sacrifice sort of thing to infuse her magic with the crystals, and then something along those lines. Okay. The best place to look at that would be Sawtooth Waves. He's been doing a few theory videos on G5. None of that has been confirmed, obviously, but it's interesting to think about, and that's until it's disproven, that's the headcanon I'm going to be going for as well. That would also make sense why the crystals are kind of acting in a strange way, because Twilight's magic was tied directly to her friends, and that amplified her magic. She still had like innate magic as a unicorn, but the friendship she had, the power from that friendship amplified her own magic. And then it next says, but as the Earth ponies air their frustrations with the inclusion of Pegasi and unicorns in a holiday they see as their own, the glitches escalate, bringing about a massive magical storm that threatens to swallow the town. In the end, it's only the power of Sunny and her friends working together that saves the day. So maybe that's why everyone was stuck on the ground, because it was probably that magical storm that was threatening to swallow everything. And then it finally says, as magic stabilizes, the Earth ponies discover that they too have powers. Feeling included and having to see the error of their ways, they apologize and come together with the unicorns and Pegasi in harmony to celebrate the rest of Maritime Bay Day together. So overall, I think this is going to be quite the packed special.
How long is it supposed to be? Is there like a runtime?
Not that I know of, but I'm guessing since it's a special, it's probably going to be between an hour and a half, something along those lines. I know most of the specials for G4 went between 40 and 60 minutes, so it's probably going to be something similar to that. But again, with this being a new team and everything, I'm not completely sure. Any final thoughts before we end this off?
I don't think so. I'm kind of brain dead from having to teach all week in Japan. So, yeah, I'm excited to see it. But there's not a whole lot, like, in the trailer other than a few, like, visual things. But, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so until the new special, that's it from me, John.
I guess that's it for me, John.
And we will talk to you guys later. Peace out, Dragon.
Ciao.